one of the key things is that you are expecting too much. So expectation and assumption kill appreciation, love, admiration in a relationship. And this was happening for us as well. We had a lot of resentment, a lot of frustration, a lot of stressed feelings, a bit of anxiety. And we hear this from a lot of couples, and they feel like they're not supported in the relationship. And a huge reason why they feel this is because of all the expectations. They literally, the expectations get in the way, you know, and they're unrealistic expectations. If we're really honest, look at the expectations you're placing on yourself and your partner. They are unrealistic. We are living in a time, like we said, where the amount of stress, the amount of work that is on each of our shoulders as men and women it's too much to get done in a 12-hour day. It's too much to get done in a 24-hour period. I mean, even if you stayed awake and you never slept, you would still not be able to get it all done. We are living in this crazy time where apparently technology was meant to make life easier, but it's just made it more convenient for us to be constantly bombarded and attacked with more information, more interruptions, more things to do constantly. And our bodies were never, our brains, our bodies were never wired for this amount of on time all of the time. And it is definitely impacting us. Like, you know, men and women are more anxious, they're more depressed, they're more stressed. Our kids are feeling it as well. And there's less time connecting. You know, literally connecting, like talking and looking, because all we're doing is staring at screens like we are now. You know, we're either watching TV or doing things on our phone or work, emails and things like that. So there's so much screen time and not much physical connection. And that does affect your communication. It's a huge part of it, and a lot of extra stress. And then you add on that, so we've got more pressure on our shoulders, men have got more pressure on their shoulders, so much expectation, the to-do list is humongous. We're like never going to get it done. So all it then takes is one comment. Like, I know for me and Adam, all it used to be was one comment. When I had that amount of stress and I wasn't filling up and Adam wasn't emptying, all it took would be one comment, like, you're so emotional, or like, why are you like upset all the time, or oh my God, look at the state of the house. It would just take one comment like that off the cuff and I would just flip my lid like an explosion had happened. And it had nothing to do with that one comment, but I could not take another thing, you know, and I'm sure you guys can relate. You could not take just one more thing to be added to the way you were feeling. And this is so many couples. And then we wonder why we can't communicate, because, I mean, we're already too full. Everybody is so full. We need to be actually emptying. We need to be letting go. We need to be culling. Like, what can we cut back? Where can we get more support is what we really need to be asking, not expecting our partners to all of a sudden be everything. Because, you know, nobody can be everything to everybody all of the time. It's impossible. And what we need in the form of support is completely different. We touched on this. So a lot of women criticize, reject, I did all of these things, judge, and even like shame their husbands into trying to get them to help. And I used to do this to Adam, be like, I've got no time for this. Nobody helps me. It's always on me. No one cares. Like, if I don't do it, no one else will do it. And I'd just kind of say this out loud, like to whoever was listening. You know, I knew that he would be hearing, but not actually having a conversation. And you've probably done this as well. I used to hear my mum do it. I've heard so many women do it. But what happens when you do that is you're literally feeding to a man that he's not successful. So it's like I was expecting him to be a mind reader. I didn't know how to ask for his help. So I was trying to shame him or blame him into being like, you should already know the help that I need, and I shouldn't have to ask for it. So that was, again, my expectations and assumptions getting in the way. And it meant I couldn't receive support because I was like basically telling him he should already know how to do it. I shouldn't have to say anything. And we both need to have initiative, but the truth is men and women are completely different. Men do not see what women see. They just don't. They literally do not. That's why they can't find the tomato sauce in the fridge, or, you know, they don't see what is right in front of them a lot of the time.
And we don't plan ahead as well. Like men can't see that tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. we're going to need to have the washing out and everything done because something's happening at 11. And then like the women have already gone through that whole process, but
because everything's connected for a woman.
But the men haven't done that. So the way in which you then communicate that to your man as a woman needs to change.
Yes. So literally, for like that example of the washing, for a man, the washing is just one separate thing. So it's just like it goes in the machine, it comes out of the machine, and it eventually goes on the line. And that's just one task separate of itself. It doesn't affect anyone else.
And the clear thing is it has a start, which is like put the washing in the machine.
Yes.
And it has an end, which is bring it in and put it away. Like there's a clear
that's how
task,
they think
start, finish, and I can do that.
So whereas for a woman, she's like, the washing goes in, that's got the school shirts in, they need that tomorrow. So it needs to be hung out now, and it needs to be brought in before the rain because the rain's coming in a few hours. And I've got work, and then we've got this on tomorrow. So there's this whole process that a woman goes through to know that she's prepared.
Yeah. Because we'll need that shirt for tomorrow. Make sure you just hang that one shirt on the dryer inside the back door. And a man should know all that without even asking. So we really need to communicate this and not just expect.
And we need to bring some humor. Like we bring humor to it now. It makes us laugh that we're like, wow, is that how your brain works? That's crazy. And like speak it out and have humor about it. But so the way I needed to learn, I used to say, like I said, I just need more support. Don't you know what just needs to be done? Like I'm sure you guys can relate. Like I was not speaking specifically enough. So Adam would then receive that and be like, I am supporting you. I've just been at work. I did this with the kids. Like I've helped with the dinner. Like, what do you mean? Like when I just say I need support, it's this big, huge word. And for a man, they don't know what you mean. They literally don't know what you mean. You say that to a woman and she knows, but you say that to a man and he goes, I don't know what that means. And like Adam said, it's because men need projects. They need very clear, specific tasks. They're very task orientated, very single focused. That's how they focus. One thing at a time. And so you need to, and it can sound frustrating to women, I know, and this is why you'll hear some women say, I feel like I've got a third child or a second child, but it doesn't have to be like that. You can do it in a way that's you're setting them up for success. And if they win, then you win. So like, for example, with the washing, I will specifically say to Adam, if I'm rushing out the door, I'm running late, can you get that washing out of the machine and get it on the line? There's those 2 yellow shirts, they need to come inside on the error. And he's like, yeah, I can do that. Great. And I'm like, awesome, thanks so much, really appreciate it. And so I appreciate him then, and I know and I trust that he'll do it, because you need to believe that they will do it. If you're doubting them, they won't do it.
And I feel like I can succeed. It's an easy task. I can go and quickly do it, and I get a little hit of dopamine.
And
he
wants to do it because he knows that when I come home and I see that
Aston will be happy. Like, it'll light her up.
Thank you so much. Those shirts are ready. That's going to really help the kids. I really appreciate it. You're the best. Like, oh my God, I really I love it.
And that's a really simple example, but that's how it starts to stack. How it starts. Like with those little daily things where you're setting each other up for success and understanding the differences in communication, and it ends up being a totally different experience.
I feel so much better. The way I was doing it before, I felt like no one was listening to me. I felt unheard. I felt like nobody cared. I was resentful, felt really alone. So the way we do it now, I actually feel supported. So, and like Adam said, that's one simple example, but it applies to everything. And when it stacks, it feels really good. And the more a man does that, the more they can have these little wins along the way. It builds up their confidence and their self-esteem to have bigger wins. And then they want to tackle bigger projects, like renovating the kitchen or, whatever.
And it actually boosts a man's testosterone as well. So he'll feel more in his masculine, he'll feel more certain, and he'll want to do more. So it's a win-win-win. And because we do see these things differently. Men see all those things as work. They see it as time. How much time is that going to take? How much energy is that going to take? And they prioritize based on importance. And men's importance is normally providing, earning money. And then keeping the family safe. So routines of getting things done in the house
and not actually on the man's top priorities, because that's how they haven't worked for so long. Whereas for women, it is a top priority, because if the routine isn't kind of working in the house, then the whole house isn't working.
Yeah. And that again is a difference.
Total
because
difference.
For hundreds of years, women have stayed at home with the kids and men have been working and providing and, killing the animals and bringing them home. So it's that primal difference in our priorities.
Yes.
Of men to provide, women to protect and nurture. Or to nurture.
And it's again new territory that we're learning. But the key that we want you to take away from this is, more than I used to try and do a lot to support Adam, like physically do things, thinking that's what he wanted and needed. And it's not actually true. It's really, that's what women want. We want more help, but then we give the men what we want, thinking they'll do the same back. It doesn't work like that. I used to do that for Adam, do so much for him, like physical doing things, thinking he'd do the same for me. Or thinking that's what he wanted and then he'd do the same for me. It doesn't work like that. What actually helps a man do more and be more is a woman's response to his actions. That is so much more powerful than anything you will ever do for him. So like in that example, the more I praise and appreciate Adam authentically and genuinely for what he's doing to help me and notice what he is doing, the more he wants to do.
Yeah. And then the less I have to do. And the less you'll have to do as a woman. And so you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed at the moment with all the things you've got to get done and you're not getting any support. By actually appreciating and showing gratitude to your man of the things he is doing, he'll do more and you can do less. And that's how we get back in balance of the masculine feminine, instead of like both getting confused about who's doing what.
And then as a woman, you can be more. And in your being, you can actually bring more joy, more love, more meaning to your relationship and to your life. And men need that from women, because men are always goal orientated. So they struggle with the enjoyment of the journey. So many women have disconnected from that journey because we're not being anymore. We're not in our bodies. We're not resting. We don't know how to stop. We don't need to be told to take on more. We need to be told to like offload and
and enjoy life a little bit.
But the way we offload is not by just like, you need to do this, you need to do that. It doesn't work. You've probably been already doing that. It's not going well. It wasn't going well for me either. But when I did appreciate what he was doing, and also the key in this is giving him the freedom to do it, the way he needs to do it. So like give specific, like as specific as you can, and a beginning and an end, but also allow wriggle movement for, again, the differences. So he hangs things out differently to me. I'm okay with that now. In the past, I wasn't. I got way too attached to how it was done. And then I just completely didn't even see that, Aston, the point is it got done and you didn't have to do it. So appreciate that he was supporting you. He was helping you, and that he wants to help me. Then that feels good for me, because I want to feel supported, and men want to help. They want to feel needed. So unattach from how it's done. It will probably be hung out differently. He'll probably use a different liquid in the washing than you would. Things like this will happen.
He might fold it differently or not fold it at all and just put piles on the bed, and you'll fold it perfectly. But
things like this,
if it gets done, it gets done, and just appreciate it. And the more we can let the how go, the more we can appreciate them for doing the thing, the more they will do. And then everybody wins. But we really have to let go of how they're doing it, and bring back that understanding of the differences, because they just are there. And honestly, I didn't really want to be married to myself. Like, if I'm honest, I was trying to make him me, but then when I really thought about it, I was like, I don't want to be married to myself. Like, it's hard enough being with me sometimes, just me, and I'm sure Adam felt the same, but then that's what we were doing to each other. So allow each other to influence each other a bit, learn a bit, get curious about the different ways that we do things, and bring some joy and humor back into it. It doesn't have to be so serious and like black and white. There can be some gray. Because men genuinely want to make women happy. They really do. Like that saying, like, happy wife, happy life. Like, it gets lots of different takes, but men genuinely, it's in our DNA to support you and to give you everything you need. Obviously, the DNA part is more primary in just providing, but we want to succeed. We want to like do the things that you ask us to do, and If you say hang the washing out, we want to do it as fast as we can and as best we can.
Yeah. And if you have sons, you'll see this with your sons as well. I see it with my son all the time. He really wants to make me happy. Like, and if I feel like lit up, he thinks it's because of him. And Adam does the same. Like, women don't do that. Like, we don't have that thing, but men literally, if Adam sees me happy and I'm like full and I'm nourished and I've had a great day, he does that smile that he's doing now. And he's like, yeah, like I did that. I made that happen because I did those things and whatever. Look at her. Like I had a part of that.
Yeah.
And so that increases his testosterone and he's so proud. And a lot of the times we take that away from them. I used to take that away from him and say things like, oh, well, it had nothing to do with what you did or whatever. Yeah. And then like you could literally feel the energy in the room, just drain. You know, it went from love and light and like this beautiful flowing energy of appreciation going both ways to just like plummeted into the ground, nothing, no energy, everybody's dead, suck the life out of the air. And that's what happens as women when we get resentful, we get like hyper independent and we're not able to receive the help or even acknowledge the help that we are getting or appreciate what we are getting because we're like so stuck in here of how it needs to look. And that we can do it on our own. Well, yeah, we might be able to do it on our own, but I don't want to. And I'm sure you don't want to either. That's why we're here. We want to do it together. We want to enjoy our lives together. So we really need to learn how to let that go. So with that lesson, we want you to really ask yourself and bring some awareness to how much are you expecting in your relationship? And is it realistic? Like really, you might even need to write a list. Like what are all your expectations in your relationship?
Yeah. What does your partner need to do in order for you to be happy?
Can you even live up to those expectations? And then look at your list of appreciations. Like on a daily basis, like how much gratitude do you show your partner? How much appreciation? It's probably really out of balance like ours was. And it really takes some conscious awareness to flip that. You need to really, because your brain is wired to look for what's wrong, what's missing, and the problem. So you have to bring some conscious awareness and really connect back into your heart to choose to want to see what is working, to choose to want to see what they are doing.
Yeah. And this comes back to a primal need of survival, of like trying to protect ourselves and get out of danger. We don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
There isn't the bear out there that's going to jump on you and attack you. There isn't all these threats to your life out in the world, but we are still all acting like, with the stress of the modern world, it's taking us into that state in our nervous system where we feel like we're being attacked.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just 100 emails that came in today.
Yeah.
And you're feeling like, oh my God, like my life's in danger. And then that's what's causing all these problems.
Yeah, we become very reactive.
Yeah, and we're constantly focused on the threats, which are the emails, the bombardment of advertising, all the little things that are going on with the family, or the cold that your son's got, or the flu that,
And then even your partner becomes a threat, but it doesn't have to be like that. If you can switch to appreciating that they're there in it with you, even in those challenging times, you can really build a strength, you can build a love, you can build a foundation that will pull you through if you can do that. And that's helped us through a lot of hard times. So
it has.